Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask, Heidi. Today is a Monday. It is the 5th day of June. International Day for the fight against illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing. So it's
okay.
a pretty serious day. Also, World Environment Day, National Veggie Burger Day, National Gingerbread Day, and so far it doesn't sound like a big day for Heidi until National Moonshine Day. Your family going to celebrate?
Not a huge moonshine
No, but your
person.
family growing up before,
Oh, yeah, they were moonshiners in Kentucky.
So they were bootleg moonshining. And, it's kind of interesting to hear some of the tales from back in the day. Her grandpa had some fun ones. Also, today is a Movie Star Monday. Clayne Crawford. So you might know him from a little movie called A Walk to Remember, another one called The Perfect Host, TV show called Lethal Weapon. Well, he's got a new movie that came out earlier this year. It's called The Integrity of Joseph Chambers. And he made this during COVID. So I'm excited to chat with him all about this coming up in a bit.
What a year. With prices on everything going up, it's more important than ever to have a better credit card. Some people use a credit card that's not a very good one. At bettercreditcards.com, we offer a variety of credit card options to fit your needs. Whether you want a card to give you cash back or points and perks, or a credit card to help you build your credit, we probably have it at bettercreditcards.com. Give yourself a little credit. Bettercreditcards.com. That's bettercreditcards.com.
Now, surveys and studies and such brought to you by bettercreditcards.com. A statistical look at who we are and the things we do says 77% of adults admit they buy gum or candy in the checkout line almost every time they go shopping for groceries. Do you do that? Do you get gum or candy?
No, not every time.
I don't do it every time. Every once in a while I'll be like, ooh, that looks good. I'm not supposed to eat that no more. 29% of parents use their kids as an excuse to buy chocolate milk for themselves. Like, oh, this is for the kids. Like, dear, the kids grew up and moved out 5 years ago. 25% of us take a shower at night rather than in the morning.
I'm a night shower
I think a lot of that depends
person.
on, like, I usually am a morning shower guy, but sometimes, like, when I'm working in the yard and getting all dirty, got to do it at night. 6% of adults say they never eat eggs. 31% of adults admit they haven't flossed in the last 6 months. Ew. 60% say they use their garbage for something other than its intended purpose. I'm sorry, their garage. That makes more sense.
What else would you do with it?
And 15% of adults say they've tried to get in the wrong car in a parking lot. Heidi's done that. I've done that.
I have done that.
So you got the key in there. There's a guy in the passenger seat like,
I've
you
actually
going somewhere?
climbed in the wrong car in a parking lot.
Surveys and studies and such brought to you by bettercreditcards.com.
Did you know you can allocate a percentage of your IRA to physical gold and silver with a tax-free rollover? You can put your IRA back on the gold standard. Genesis Gold IRA is the only IRA that can hold physical precious metals. Call now for your free gold and silver report and learn how to qualify for up to $10,000 in free silver. GenesisGoldIRA.com would like to help protect your IRA today with a simple phone call. Learn more and get the phone number at GenesisGoldIRA.com. That's GenesisGoldIRA.com.
Did you know? Brought to you by GenesisGoldIRA.com. Heidi, did you know scientists say they may have discovered the secret to a healthy heart? It's not running. That's good news. New research published in the Journal of Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics find that gardening is associated with several better health outcomes, including lower odds of cardiovascular disease and diabetes. The study of over 145,000 U.S. seniors found that regular gardening can reduce the risk of depression and anxiety. Gardeners spent more time staying physically active compared to exercisers, and they were able to meet the recommended 150 minutes of aerobic activity per week just with gardening alone.
I like to, well, I don't garden. I plant bushes and flowers and trees and stuff.
Oh,
I tried to garden once.
Yeah, she planted a garden, but she did it
didn't
wrong.
work out
she
so
had
well.
ears of corn that were like 2 inches long. I'm like, what did you do? This is how they get them at the Chinese restaurants, apparently. All right, we don't know everything, but now we know this.
John and Heidi.
Now, big screen, little screen, brought to you by InsuranceChicken.com. Does it matter to you where they film a show? Like if there's a show that you're watching, do you care if it's filmed here or there or somewhere else?
Not at all.
It doesn't matter to me either. I wonder if anyone's
As
going to care.
long as it seems like it's legit.
Kelly Clarkson is talking about why she's relocating her show from one place to another, going to New York after 4 years in L.A., but it's because her family lives on the East Coast, and she says during COVID, we realized just how much we missed family and being around them.
That's nice.
And she goes, I love doing the show, but I said I kind of want to do it from there.
Yeah.
Disney had a huge weekend with Little Mermaid. Memorial Weekend last weekend. Opening weekend was $95.5 million over the 3 days. So they've done very, very well this last week as well. And Rebel Wilson says she auditioned for the part in the next James Bond movie. The Pitch Perfect alum was talking with some other folks during the Cannes Film Festival. Is that how you say it, Cannes? I've heard it as Cannes. Is it Cannes?
I don't know.
I don't know. I've never been invited. So anyway, she did not specify what role, but she did say, maybe it's 007. Maybe it's not.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see what happens. Big Screen, Little Screen, brought to you by InsuranceChicken.com.
How much do you pay for your cell phone every month? If it's more than $15, it's time for a Mintervention. Mint Mobile makes it affordable and easy to switch. Get a new phone or bring in your current phone. iPhones and Samsung phones both work well with Mint Mobile. At Mintervention.com, you can see the current special offers from Mint Mobile, offering premium wireless for just $15 a month. That's far less than most people are paying, just $15 a month. Learn more now at Mintervention.com. That's Mintervention.com.
Now your scoop of the day comes your way courtesy of BetterCreditCards.com. In a report, doctors claim that sitting too much is bad for your health.
Really?
Okay. So
we needed this.
Did you have to turn in a report and you completely forgot to do it and you just decided I'm going to write something quick? Because we already knew this. Everybody knew that. I could have written that report and I have no clout whatsoever. All right. In a groundbreaking development, scientists have achieved a remarkable feat in battery technology. This brings us closer to one day being able to charge our smartphones in about 60 seconds. This innovation, pioneered by a team from Stanford University, introduces a newly developed battery made of aluminum that is not only addressing safety concerns, but also it surpasses its predecessors in terms of longevity and efficiency. And it's able to withstand 7,500 recharges with no failure. There are environmental benefits as well. The new battery could replace alkaline batteries, which are harmful to the environment, and the lithium-ion batteries, which occasionally burst into flame. So they're saying this could take care of...
That's pretty crazy.
The thing that's amazing to me, there are people out there that are super smart that figured this stuff out. I remember when I was in school, we made a battery out of potato. Did you do that?
No.
In science class, you didn't do that?
No. I was probably supposed to, but I probably ate the potato.
It's like, so Heidi, show me the project. You're like, what project? I thought it was snack time. Why'd you give me a potato? I'll go sit in that corner now. No, we made a battery out of potato, and then we used it to light up a light bulb. So it was high-tech stuff, Heidi. Cutting edge.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Anyway, they're making them out of aluminum. They're probably way better because I can't imagine jamming a potato in my cell phone. So that would just be weird. Scoop of the day comes your way, courtesy of BetterCreditCards.com.
InsuranceChicken.com wants to know, how much are you paying for your insurance? I know it seems like a hassle to switch to a different company, but if you can save a few bucks, it's worth crossing the road to InsuranceChicken.com. We have several of the top insurance companies trying to earn your business. They do that by offering great insurance that is cheap. Okay, enough of the silly chicken puns. It's time to get serious about saving you money on your insurance at InsuranceChicken.com. That's InsuranceChicken.com.
Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Movie Star Monday. Our guest today, Clayne Crawford, and we're going to talk about a project that recently came out. It's called The Integrity of Joseph Chambers. First of all, Clayne, thanks for taking the time to chat. Tell me a little bit about this film that recently came out.
Hey, John, thanks for having me. Look, we, like everyone, I was at home during COVID and, tired of day drinking and watching Netflix. So
Yeah.
I called up a couple of buddies and just said, hey, do you guys want to shoot a film? And, technology has gotten us into a place where you don't need 50 crew, 100 crew members and exotic equipment. You can make a film with fairly inexpensive cameras and a laptop, right? So we called everyone together, and like I said, it's a story about a kind of a fish out of water, I guess you could kind of say. He's a insurance salesman who was born and raised in an urban environment, kind of we don't mention the location necessarily, but we realize he's from a small city, and he's now moved to a rural community with his wife, and he's realizing that what defines a man where he's from is a little different from where he's now living. So in an effort to kind of fit in, he wants to learn how to hunt, and he wants to be self-reliant to some extent. And he goes on a hunting trip, and of course, something very unexpected happens, which kind of alters his life and forces him to make a very difficult decision.
I love that. During COVID, you decided, I'm going to just do this, and then you just did it. I think that's awesome.
Well, again, when I got into the industry in the late 90s, you were forced to have to move to Los Angeles, and you had to kind of go through the gatekeepers. And you're talking about finding an editor who can cut and splice film, and you have to purchase the film and the cameras, and there are these monstrosities that take 5 or 6 individuals to operate. And nowadays, if you've got a great iPhone, you can go tell your story. So it's exciting for creatives and artists nowadays, filmmakers who live in small towns who are like, I can't do it. That's no longer the case. It's really, if you have a great story to tell, you can just go tell it. And that's exhilarating, and it was certainly wonderful for us at a time when I think we all needed to feel creative.
Now, speaking of good stories, you've had a chance to be a part of some amazing stories. A Walk to Remember, The Perfect Host, on television, Lethal Weapon. And I love the fact that now you said, hey, we've got the technology. We can do this. We're going to take this good story and we're going to make it a reality with or without a giant studio backing us.
Well, because look, it's like anything. It's why anyone becomes an entrepreneur sometimes you work for someone long enough, 20, 30 years, and you go, wait a minute, I've learned what not to do watching these guys. I want to give it a shot on my own. And again, because of where we're at with the tech, it's allowed me to kind of take that jump. And then you kind of are able to a little more management as it relates to quality control.
And again, back to the film that we're talking about, The Integrity of Joseph Chambers. It was featured at the Tribeca Film Festival, and now it's been out for a little over a month for regular folks to see it on video on demand. Where can we go to find the film?
Look, it's everywhere from iTunes to Google Play, Spectrum, Dish, DirecTV, anywhere you can download content, it's available there, and then in limited cities as well.
Awesome. So do you have other ideas for films or TV shows that you would also like to maybe put on your producer hat and put together like this one?
I definitely do. We have 2 other films that we shot also during COVID because it just wouldn't end. So we just kind of kept making little films. I just sold one to 1091 Pictures, who did What We Do in the Shadows. So they'll release that in the summer. And then, honestly, I think I'm kind of getting to a place where I want to go maybe do another series. We've been making these films for now 4 years. So I just did a film with 101 Studios. Those guys, that's Taylor Sheridan, who does Yellowstone and 1923 and 1883 and all those great shows. So I'm thinking of maybe going and doing something with those guys. So yeah, it's kind of back and forth, right? You do a couple for you, and then you do a couple that pay the bills and keeps the lights on.
Very nice. Now, I haven't seen this one yet, but I'm going to go check it out. It looks really good. The Integrity of Joseph Chambers. It's streaming right now. Thank you again for taking the time to chat today.
Have a great day. Thank you.
Absolutely. Again, our guest today has been Clayne Crawford. The movie, The Integrity of Joseph Chambers, it's out right now. I'm going to throw a link to the trailer and also how you can find it if you'd like to stream it through video on demand in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com.
What a year. With prices on everything going up, it's more important than ever to have a better credit card. Some people use a credit card that's not a very good one. At bettercreditcards.com, we offer a variety of credit card options to fit your needs. Whether you want a card to give you cash back or points and perks, or a credit card to help you build your credit, we probably have it at bettercreditcards.com. Give yourself a little credit. Bettercreditcards.com. That's bettercreditcards.com.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team his sophomore year.
I knew that.
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
He went on to do okay, though, so don't feel too bad for him. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Martha Stewart became a billionaire while she was in prison.
I don't doubt that at
So
all.
she's in prison serving her time. Meanwhile, her brand was racking up the points because she was in the news a lot. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Albert Einstein never wore socks.
Really?
Yeah, he would wear shoes but no socks.
Why?
I don't know. I might start doing that. And our final fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Michael J. Fox, his middle name does not start with a J. Do you know what his middle name
I
is?
do not.
How do you
I
not know this?
I'm ashamed and embarrassed.
Well, when you were a child, what did you say?
I was going to marry him.
Yeah, you were going to marry the man. You didn't even know his middle name? His middle name is Andrew. But he didn't want to be Michael A. Fox because he's Canadian and there was a A.
Come
That's
on,
right,
A.
A. So he's Michael J. Fox. But there was already a Michael Fox, so that's why he needed to add something. There's 4 fun facts for you. Now you know. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
Did you know you can allocate a percentage of your IRA to physical gold and silver with a tax-free rollover? You can put your IRA back on the gold standard. Genesis Gold IRA is the only IRA that can hold physical precious metals. Call now for your free gold and silver report and learn how to qualify for up to $10,000 in free silver. GenesisGoldIRA.com would like to help protect your IRA today with a simple phone call. Learn more and get the phone number at GenesisGoldIRA.com. That's GenesisGoldIRA.com.
Time now for the Mint Mobile question of the day. It comes your way courtesy of Mintervention.com. Question for you, Heidi. 13% of people admit that they have hit this while driving. What is it? I don't think you've ever done this. Yeah.
A tree.
No, their garage door.
Oh.
Have you ever hit our garage door?
No, but I did hit the side of the garage.
I remember that. It's like, careful. That garage wall keeps moving on you. All right, Mint Mobile question of the day comes your way, courtesy of Mintervention.com.
How much do you pay for your cell phone every month? If it's more than $15, it's time for a Mintervention. Mint Mobile makes it affordable and easy to switch. Get a new phone or bring in your current phone. iPhones and Samsung phones both work well with Mint Mobile. At Mintervention.com, you can see the current special offers from Mint Mobile, offering premium wireless for just $15 a month. That's far less than most people are paying, just $15 a month. Learn more now at Mintervention.com. That's Mintervention.com.
Time now for some weird news brought to you by WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com. A popular dog park in Montreal has outlawed dogs from barking. And owners could be fined up to 2,000 Canadian dollars if their dogs bark
Holy cow.
at the dog park. Locals were shocked to see signs informing them that their pets were not allowed to bark at the dog park.
Oh, that's insane.
Owners of yappy puppies could be looking at a $500 to $2,000 Canadian dollar fine. Spokesperson for the town council in the borough said this sign was intended to help reduce the nuisance experienced by the neighborhood of this park. Of course, the internet went wild with one user citing this city of Montreal figures out dogs bark. So, what do you think's going to happen?
What do you think they're going to do? They're hanging out with their friends. They're going to bark.
The thing is, I think that maybe they took it a little too far. But I would say if your dog is barking incessantly, like if your dog is being a nuisance, it's one. But dogs are going to bark once in a while.
But they're the dog park. They're playing.
And the people who moved in next to the dog park should probably realize that there's going to be dogs at a dog park.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That's
weird
a bit
news.
much.
Brought to you by WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com.
John and Heidi.
Time now for the list brought to you by BetterCreditCards.com. Reddit user asked, what lesson took you the longest to unlearn? One was, just because somebody is nice doesn't mean they have the best intentions for you.
That is true.
Another one, when you fail at something, you are not a failure. Our worth is not defined by our achievements or our productivity. That's a great lesson. That time means nothing when it comes to friendship. People change, and sometimes they're only meant to be at a certain point in your life.
Yep, that's true.
I've seen that before. That it was rude to tell people when they hurt my feelings instead of just letting it go. I was just taught that it's easier to be the bigger person and not make things worse. There you go. The idea that I always had to please others and put their needs before mine. That's something they had to unlearn. Another thing that someone needed to unlearn, working extra hours without compensation is a toxic mentality. Your boss won't like you more. They'll treat you like a doormat, and they'll add more work to your plate. There's some additional ones on the list here if you'd like to read all of them in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com.
InsuranceChicken.com wants to know, how much are you paying for your insurance? I know it seems like a hassle to switch to a different company, but if you can save a few bucks, it's worth crossing the road to InsuranceChicken.com. We have several of the top insurance companies trying to earn your business. They do that by offering great insurance that is cheap. Okay, enough of the silly chicken puns. It's time to get serious about saving you money on your insurance at InsuranceChicken.com. That's InsuranceChicken.com.
Now, your quote of the day comes your way, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com, and the quote today is from John Maynard Keynes, who says, "The avoidance of taxes is the only intellectual pursuit that still carries any reward." I don't know about that. I think there's others, but yeah. And at some point, they'll catch up to you, so just be careful. Quote of the day comes your way, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always like to wrap things up around here with good news, and I think this is good news. Comes your way courtesy of GenesisGoldIRA.com. I think this is a really cool story. Think about this. Where you're born has nothing to do with where you can go.
True.
There are some people who have maybe started in a position that wasn't so great that have gone on to greatness. Take a listen to this young lady here. "I was born in prison.
Oh.
Texas girl born in jail is now accepted to Harvard."
Wow.
Yeah. A young Texas woman whose life began behind bars has been accepted into the prestigious Harvard University after graduating third in her class. 18-year-old Aurora Sky Kastner was born at the Galveston County Jail. Her father picked her up from the county jail and raised her as a single dad. Her mother was incarcerated at the time and has never been part of her life. She said, "I was born in prison," reads the first line of her Harvard application. Kastner credits her mentor, Mona Hamby, for her success. Kastner and Hamby met when she was in elementary school. The school staff introduced her to a community mentorship program where an adult volunteer grabs lunch with a young student at least once a week. I've seen programs like this, and I think they're amazing.
Yep, I agree.
I know several people who are there's different programs with different names, but several people who are in programs like this who absolutely love it. And I'll tell you what, a lot of the time, the mentor, the older person gets just as much out of it as a kid, because they again, it's a lot of the time when you give to something, it gives back. Anyway, this is really, really cool. This young lady, again, just recently graduated, and now she's heading off to Harvard, got a full scholarship to Harvard. I think that is amazing.
Wow.
Born in prison, now accepted to Harvard. Now, that's the beginning of the rest of her life. I hope she goes on to do more amazing things. That would be really good. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Movie Star Monday.